Hope Jordan from Legend Senior Living, and I've been in long-term care and senior living for many, many years. Previously to Legend, I worked at Wesley Towers for 12 years. Before that, I was at Pleasant View Home for 7. And one common thing that we hear, last week in particular, I was at the Reno County Council on Aging, and they talked about what can we do for our community because we see our neighbors struggling. So my question is today, how do you know when it's time to make that transition from your home to maybe getting some services in the home or making that big leap into looking towards another living establishment? So some of the things we kind of think of is the yard work taking a little much more time than it was taking. You know, we always kind of dread mowing the yard, but is it now to the point that it's becoming a struggle, or you're missing times when you should be mowing the yard, or, you know, prepping those meals every day? Is it becoming a burden when you're looking at activities of daily living and you're just struggling to get through the basics to every single day? That's when it's kind of a time to look at different options. And what's great about the senior living community, especially at Legend, we are able to offer a varying levels of care. So we have independent living cottages. So those individuals are able to sustain the exact same life that they were at home, but at the highest level of freedom. So you're able to have your car, you're able to go do whatever you want, whenever your heart desires, but have that security of knowing that we're taking care of the yard work, we can do the laundry, we're taking care of all the maintenance. It's that worry-free living in the independent setting. If maybe there's become some health issues with diabetes or things like that where you're needing a little assistance multiple times during the day, we have assisted living, and we do 5 levels of care with those. So if you choose, maybe you don't need any assistance whatsoever with any medications or anything like that, but you just want somebody to cook, somebody to clean, somebody to take care of everything, then you can live in the assisted living area, and that care is provided within the base rate. We also offer our 3rd level of care is memory care. We are one of the few memory care facilities here in town that are able to help people that are struggling with Alzheimer's or other related dementias with our specialized training. All of our staff are very trained in unique ways of handling individuals that have that cognitive impairment and meeting them in the place they are in their life, you know, because that does change a person, and we want to be able to give them the highest level of care and compassion that we can. Then we have 5 levels of care that we assess to where you fall, and then we'll do a nursing assessment and pricing off of that. We have what we call gold leaf dining. So we have a 5-star chef that prepares all of our meals, and we really try to strive for a luxury experience. Everything from the fine linen tablecloths to beautiful floral arrangements at every meal, and dietitian approved meals that kind of give you that well-rounded diet. We have life enrichment that we focus on the whole entire person. So mind, body, and spirit. We have educational events. We have choir groups. We have all the things to keep you stimulated, to build friendships. So we offer those different areas of living that, you know, if you're kind of thinking that there might be some sort of transition, I would love to invite you out just to show you our new remodel. We're almost done with a 10,000 square foot remodel where we've added a bistro, a movie theater, we've expanded our dining room, all new color palettes, brand new carpet, lighting, everything that's very conducive to the seniors, everything that is brighter and lighter, because a fun fact, as you age, you need 75% more light than you did when you were younger. So everything at Legend is very intentionally designed to keep you at your highest functioning level. So if anytime you want to stop by, see the new remodel, enjoy some gold leaf dining, we would love to have you, and I'd love to get you in. So does anybody have any questions? We are just right around the corner. So if you go out here on 23rd to Brentwood, you'll see our big Legend sign. We're just tucked right in that neighborhood back there. So it's kind of elusive. You can see the back of our building from here, even though we're about a block over. It was acquired by Legend in 2019. So once you get past Diversicare, you'll turn on Brentwood and you'll see our big sign. Our independent living cottages are there in the front. There's 8 of them that you'll drive through when you come to the main building.
Another thing that is surprising, but sometimes you think it's good to make your house. Like, I'd rather age in place in my house and make it handicap accessible, so you do all these alterations. Well, then when you go to sell your house, unfortunately, the people looking at your house are probably first-time home buyers, young families, young kids, and all of this money you've spent, remodeling it to be handicap accessible, they don't see the value in it. So it can kind of be a double-edged sword where you're doing it for your convenience, but when you go to sell the house, it can be an issue.
Right.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Ho.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
And hope
Well, a little bit of free legal advice is to go to the county, to the Register of Deeds office, and ask them for a copy of the most recent deed on file. They'll give that to you. They might charge you $1 or so, but I promise it's worth it. What you want to do when you look at that deed is you want to see, is it joint with rights of survivorship? It needs to say that on there. So not only will the deed say tenants in common, sometimes there's a perception that if it says husband and wife, that it's automatically joint with rights of survivorship. It is not. In Kansas, it is not. In Missouri, it's presumed to be something called tenancy by entirety. So when I'm working in Missouri or with Missouri clients, we don't have that problem. But in Kansas, just because it says husband and wife does not mean joint tenants with rights of survivorship. And a lot of my problems that I have had to do where we have to go open a full probate estate to be able to undo some of that. You're looking not just for words husband and wife, but you actually have to see the magic words, joint tenants with rights of survivorship. And if you don't have that on there, then you need to get a hold of a title company or an attorney to fix that for you, for sure. And you want to do it before somebody passes away. That's the key. So yeah, a little bit of free legal advice is go called the Register of Deeds. I brought 2 different handouts that I do. The first one is Life and Estate Planning Basics, and I was going to pull a little bit of what I talk about in this one to talk about today. The other one that I brought is called Paying for Long-Term Care. And so it kind of fits in with how am I going to help to pay, what's going to be there, and how am I going to pay for long-term care if I move into somewhere like Legend, or if I move into a full-scale skilled care place as well. So kind of the difference between just an estate planning attorney and an elder care attorney is that I'm not just helping with the wills and the trusts, but I'm also looking at what kind of veterans benefits might be available to us? What kind of Medicaid benefits work? How can we use somebody's long-term care insurance to help stretch it? What are some of the options that are out there that you might not even be aware of? When would Legend be a good fit for you and when might they not? And I've really worked hard to earn my reputation. I was born and raised here in Hutch, but I've really worked hard to earn my reputation with the facilities around here so that they know that if somebody's working with me, they know that they're gonna have a client that is educated, has the appropriate and necessary documents, and that, they want to know that they're going to get paid too. And so I always make sure that they get paid one way or another. And so sometimes people are really afraid when it's time to downsize or it's time to go into a home or facility. I don't like saying the word facility. Nobody really likes facility. But if you have to go into a home, people get really worried about losing the home. And so when I'm meeting with clients and they come to see me and they say, I'm really worried about losing the home, I'm trying to figure out from them, are we worried about losing the home itself, the building? Has it been in the family for generations and generations and generations and there's some sort of tie to it? Or are we worried about losing the equity in the home, and is there something else that we could do to protect some of the cash? Sometimes people say, I'm really worried about losing the home, but they know that it doesn't make sense for the reasons that you said. It doesn't make sense to actually stay in the home. They're just worried about the government taking it or the nursing home taking it or whatever it might be. Like I said, there might be some other benefits out there that we could use to help do some of that kind of protection. So I will very quickly, I don't want to take up all the time, but I will very quickly mention a couple of the really important documents that you need as you get older. I would argue that anybody that turns over 18, when you turn 18, you need to consider these what I call life documents. I do them for people at church all the time. They turn 18, they're going off to college, and we need somebody that can handle decisions, make medical decisions for them and that kind of thing, because mom and dad just can't do it anymore. We have to have something in writing. Those documents are called powers of attorney. Sometimes they're documents sometimes it's one document, it's a medical and a financial all in one. Most of the time these days it's 2 different documents, a medical power of attorney and a financial power of attorney. I do 3. I do a medical power of attorney, a financial power of attorney, and something called a limited power of attorney for the house, because
my power of attorney is really expensive if we have to record it at the Register of Deeds office, and I want to save everybody a little bit of money if we have to use it. So I give you 3, but most commonly it's 2, a medical power of attorney and a financial power of attorney. The financial one is so that somebody can make legal decisions for you. They can sign your name on about anything that you can sign your name to, and they can make those arrangements for you. Continue paying your bills, sign to enter into a place like Legend, basically step in your shoes if you were to lose mental capacity. Or you just say, kids, I'm tired of doing it, I want you to take it over. Sometimes that happens too. The other one is medical decision making, and that is who's going to make medical decisions for you when you're unable. Obviously, your spouse might do that for you if you still have a spouse living. But what happens when your spouse passes and we've got 3 kids and 2 of the 3 don't get along, and then we're fighting about who wants what. So you get to decide those, and you do that by putting it in writing. There are freebie forms at the hospital and I think the clinic passes them out too. So I'd say it's better than nothing is to have the freebie form for medical power of attorney and something called a living will, which just says, if you're brain dead, do you want to be kept alive or not? But at least go get those forms. The financial power of attorney, unfortunately, you do have to shell out some bucks to an attorney somewhere to make sure that it's done properly and to get the legal advice. That's what the Attorney General's office recommends as well. So the financial is totally different, and there is no freebie form out there. And I would, as somebody who worked in estate and trust litigation for 6 years before moving back home, I would tell you that getting that legal advice is very much worth it. So I'll stick around and ask questions. You guys can ask questions later.
One thing that we always like to let them know ahead of time before they move into a nursing home or assisted living of any sort. I know when we were dealing with my grandfather, how soon did they have to have it done before the Medicaid or Medicare thinks you're just trying to hide?
So there's a 5-year look back period, and that's the best planning and advanced planning for when we're trying to protect real estate. If you have veterans benefits that we could look at, so if you're a wartime veteran or surviving spouse of a wartime veteran, or if you have long-term care insurance, I can oftentimes shorten that. I mean, there's still a 5-year look back period to be clear about that, but we can easily work numbers on there. I also do crisis planning where we can do a division of assets and not make it a scary word, and I can protect a lot of cash, almost everything, very quickly, even when I don't have 5 years. So real estate, you really should plan ahead. That's always plan A, is at least 5 years in advance.
And what about TODs on?
Oh, I should have talked about do I have just a couple minutes?
Go
Okay.
for
Oh,
it.
you told me to stay here. Sorry.
Oh, you're
Okay.
I've been moving.
Okay, I'm sorry. I am a swear, evidently.
No, it's all good. I
Transfer on death. So what she's asking about is a TOD, and it's called a transfer on death deed. And the title company here told me that they don't like to do them very much anymore because things can go sideways and kind of wonky. So they usually recommend getting an attorney to do that nowadays as well. But what that is you put a transfer on death deed on your house that says, when I die, give my house to so-and-so. And so the kids don't get it until you pass away and you're done with the house. But what that does is it helps to avoid probate. So instead of having to hire an attorney and go through a whole probate process, which lasts at least 6 months, that's really the soonest that you could close a probate. So at least 6 months. Instead of going through that headache and several $1,000s, all the kids would have to do, or your beneficiary would have to do, is record your death certificate at the Register of Deeds office, and the house is theirs.
Is there then an inheritance?
There's no inheritance tax. So, I should say, if you are a single person and you have less than $11.5 million in assets, or a married couple that has less than $23 million in assets, there's no inheritance tax.
But
So,
if they had rentals or something else, it's different than your primaries too. So, I mean, there's several different things that we could get into, but we just wanted you to know that.
right.
Transfer of death, that one's
Right.
right too.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right, thank you.
We do online estate sales. Basically, we like to come in after you have moved out, and you take what you want to take and you leave everything else where it is. And we come in and we go through everything. We lot groups up and we take pictures of them. We put them on a program called Equip Bid, and we run an online auction. It's a little different than doing a traditional estate sale where all of your items are more like a garage sale situation where people come to your house and they're in and out of your house and they're looking at your items. We put everything on an auction and we run it for about a week. Then everybody comes on a certain day or 2 days to pick up their items with us there. So you don't have people in and out of your house. It's just us. We're there doing our work. We lot those items up, like items together, and we try to make the most money that we can for the items that you're deciding to sell.
Equipment has a pretty strong following of about 170,000 active bidders.
But it goes even beyond that.
Yes, it goes
It's
beyond that.
worldwide.
We can do an auction here in Hutchinson, and we're gonna bring people in to purchase items. They're coming out of Missouri,
Yes.
Oklahoma, Iowa, Nebraska. Huge following out of the Kansas City area. The benefit more so of doing it in the online platform versus your regular estate sale is you have the exposure to that many more people that are looking at your items. Regular estate sales usually start at full price. They usually run approximately 3 days. They start at full price for your items the first day. Second day, they're gonna drop that down 30%. And by the last day, they're wheeling and dealing just trying to get stuff gone. Now on our platform, we do start low. Our bids start at $1. The benefit of that is when we start that low, most generally we're gonna sell absolutely everything you have. But those prices are definitely going to go up. So instead of going down on the prices as the sale goes on, it's gonna go up. And you've got that many more people looking at your items, that many more people, in competition to try and win those items. We find that we most generally produce more income than your regular estate sale is going to. We will come into your home, we'll picture everything, we sort through it, we picture it. And, sometimes people don't have time or they miss some personal items that are in the house. If we run across those items as we're picturing your sale, we will have a tote or a cabinet somewhere located in your home that we'll put those items that we think are like personal papers, things like that we feel you guys would want to deal with. So we'll have an area that we put that. Other than that, we go through, we picture everything in the home. We put it online with a type of good description with it, any information we have about that item. The auction goes live. We like to run it for 5 to 7 days to get maximum exposure. We always like to run it over a weekend because that's when we find most people got more free time and they're sitting around looking on their computers. The auction will close. Let's say we close the auction we can close it any night, but let's say we close it on a Monday night. Tuesday, the following day, is going to be when people come to pick up their items. We come back to the home, we group those items that each individual bidder won. They come to pick up by appointment, we have their items ready, have their items set aside, they load their items and they're gone. You don't have all the traffic coming in and out of your home. It's just an easy, streamlined process, and we do our best to work with people and we know this is a hard time in your lives to have to make this transition, and we like to be there to try and help things go smoothly as possible. And
We ask that you don't donate items, you don't throw any items away, because what you think may not be worth anything may bring you a few dollars, if not more.
yeah,
Food items we can sell as long as they're not outdated.
if you have canned goods in your cabinets, people will buy them.
Yeah.
I mean,
We can sell vehicles, we can sell boats, motorcycles, lawnmowers, anything except the actual structure of your home.
We've used them several times for clients, and they've done a fantastic job. I even have clients that will get really good referrals with them. The other thing they didn't mention is everything is paid online. They know that
Absolutely.
night too when it closes
Yes.
out. Plus, it's like your typical auction when you get down to the deadline. If somebody else bids right before it's over, it's starting again. Gives another 5 minutes. It's kind of like when the auctioneer is going, "Who's got the last one?"
Yeah.
I was frustrated when I went on to go do this. I thought the time was up, but because it knows who puts another bid in, it gives another 5 minutes just to see. So they are trying everything they can to get as much money
Yes.
for you as possible.
And-
Convenient, easy, and they know it's stressful in your life. It's
Yeah.
your personal items. but they do a fantastic job. They really do. What we love about it is it's not tons of people pulling in onto a property on the lawns, all this other stuff, especially the country properties that we have with septics. If you have a regular estate sale and the auctioneers are out there, they're moving stuff inside and out, they're banging up the house. They also people are driving up in the yards and they're also running over your septics.
Yes.
So there's stuff that people don't think about when we're dealing with
Yeah.
real estate. So things
We
that happen
kind of
right.
take your typical auction process and your estate sale process and we combine it
Yeah.
and take the best of both and
When we get the auction completed and we put it online, we send the link over here to the office. We send it to you so you can share it with your family and friends. They share it here in the office on their social network. So we get a lot of exposure that way too. You may know that you have your grandmother's wedding ring and you can't find it anywhere. And you tell us this is what we are still looking for and we will keep it for you.
we're very good about that because I know a lot of times when you're in that panic of trying to move out and you've already got so many things going on. There may be that one item that you're just sure is there, but you haven't located it yet. If you let us know ahead of time, when we run across that item, we'll notify you and let you know that we have found it and we've set it off to the side.
What I thought was impressive as another person that was there, or one of your pickups, I guess, no one was allowed to even kind of go in the house or like get past a certain point without you guys verifying
Yeah.
that you had a purchase or had
Yes.
something. And then you would even go as far as to go with the person.
Yeah.
And like make sure that it was just
Well-
that item or whatever it was.
We make sure that they take what they purchased. We also are now if they purchase a large item, like a heavy item, a piece of furniture, Stacy and I aren't really capable of loading that, so we ask that they bring their own help to load. But we will stay with people and we will make sure that there's no damage that happens to the house while they're moving these items out. We supervise. And yes, when people come to pick their items up, we have a check-in sheet where they have to give us their name, their bidder number. We verify that what they're picking up has been paid for. So nothing leaves the premises without being paid for.
So that's a case by case basis. We come in, we look at the items that you have for sale. It does depend on how much you have for sale, the quality of the items for sale. Kind of a basis is 40 to 45%.
But you're not moving stuff, you're not
Right.
cleaning stuff,
Yeah.
you're not getting everything. It's
We're taking
nice
care
that
of
it's
it
all-
for you.
Right.
You just take what you need and
Right.
go and we'll.
We clean the items if they're dusty or dirty. We clean them, we picture them, we take care of all that. We take care of, the trash,
Yeah.
if there's any trash that's accumulated.
The famous junk drawers that everybody has. We sort through your junk drawers, we lock that stuff up, and we can guarantee we're gonna make you money off your junk drawers. You may have your eye on one item that you have in that auction, and you think, well, this item should bring $500, and I'm gonna be so upset if it doesn't. Well, it may not get to $500, but you start looking at all those little things that you thought nobody's gonna give $1 for that. And you're getting $5, $10, $20 for those items, and it more than makes up for this item that you thought wouldn't go as high. And the auction
Yeah.
process is nuts. If she's bidding on something that maybe I want, man, we're gonna sit there and we're gonna fight. I mean, and you'll wind up spending $50 more than you thought you would spend just because this person's irritating you and you're gonna win the bid.
That happened to me on
So-
the last auction.
It did. We're happy to come out to your home, see what you have, discuss what we think we can do for you, and we're happy to do that, no charge. So
Yeah, you guys are part of a lead.
we are not a part of Elite.
We have similar.
We just wound up with this. Yeah, there hasn't been anyone over in this area doing this type of process. So we decided when the company that we worked for in Wichita dissolved, that we wanted to come over here, start our own company, and start focusing on bringing this into the Hutchinson area and towards the Moundridge, Heston area. We weren't looking at.
Our names.
We
Yeah.
weren't looking at
It's okay. We love it. We're happy to be associated.
We just
We're
love
happy
the
to be
name.
sharing that name.
Yeah, we are proud to be associated with that name. So
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.